We went nuclear in week 2 right here on YouTube, and we're about to run it back for Thursday Night Football, Bills versus Dolphins. In this video, I'm going to look at every single player prop under the sun. We're going to analyze the game itself to figure out what the best bets are. We're going to talk about the betting models, my favorite picks. Hey, we might even put together a parlay. Let's see how degenerate we can be. So buckle up and let's get paid. All right, so I'm looking at No Big Sportsbook. It's my favorite sportsbook. We're going to use this to talk about the games today. Now I'm looking at Underdog. We're going to use this as well for player props. Lastly, we're going to take a look at myspurryedge.com for the betting models. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to be down here in this corner. Kind of hide like a creeper down here. What you're looking at here is the VIP products. I do massive full breakdowns. I show everybody the Google Sheets, the math. Nothing's hidden. Transparency is key. If you're good at betting, you should want to show your results. Nothing will sell more than the proof. So my staff went 18-2 Sunday and Monday. My picks and my models made over 12 units of profit. This is all shared publicly inside Discord. If you want access, tails.bet/DFS and Donuts picks. It's that first link down below. All right, let's get to business. Yes, the Bills are going to win. No, I'm not being biased. They're the cream of the crop in the AFC right now. The line has opened up at Bills being massive 12.5-point favorites at home on Thursday Night Football. We've got a total of 49.5 points. And then very similar to what we saw with the Ravens versus the Brownies, opening up at over -700 odds. Ugh. But I covered this in last Wednesday's video, the game picks video, which, by the way, week 1 went 13-3, week 2 went 12-4. That video comes out Wednesday morning. You do not want to miss it. And my final hot takes for Thursday Night Football will be on the Thursday morning live show at 9 a.m. Long story short, subscribe to the channel, turn noties on. But I digress. I mentioned in that video that teams that win the game cover an almost 80% of those wins. And we saw it with the Ravens last week. They win the game and they cover the spread, despite it being 11.5 points. Now, with me thinking the Bills are going to take home the W, most of you are likely betting on them as well. How do we take advantage of this? Well, it's not so cut and dry. We can't slam in a -700. Good luck making money. Going to have to find a nice parlay. Or maybe you put together a single game parlay like this. But there's some cause for concern. And here's why. Josh Allen is elite. We all know that. But he kicks it up another level against the Dolphins. Joshy Poo, I didn't mean to say that. I'm going to leave it in the recording, has a 16 touchdown to 3 interception ratio over the last 6 games against the Dolphins. He's averaged 293 passing yards and 36 rushing yards in those games. And then there's Tua, who's been miserable against the Bills. I got this cool stat from CBS Sports. There's only 4 teams that Tua has this stat against, and the Bills are one of them. He has more turnovers against the Bills than he does touchdowns. Yikes. And that's with a decent-looking arsenal around him. Despite the Bills' defense being touch and go, they've managed to keep the Jets to 154 total yards, held them to 10 points, after giving up a 40 bomb to the Ravens, who look like they might score 40 per game all year. Bills have given up the second most yards on the ground this season. Not good. Devon Achane, nasty. By the way, Dolphins could have won last week, but Achane's left foot barely stepped out of bounds. It was a 55-yard touchdown catch. And then they choked the game at the end. But Achane's been pretty good against the Bills. 4 games against the Bills, averages 117 yards, and has 6 touchdowns. He's now scored a touchdown in 11 of 13 games with Tua under center. So I think that might be an interesting bet as well. So let's get into the nitty gritty now that we've kind of laid it out. Of course, I'm taking the Bills. This isn't even a thought. Yes, I'm a Bills fan, but no, this is not biased. This is just logic. Now here's where things get tricky. The Dolphins have been covering left and right against the Bills despite losing most of the games. On top of that, the last 7 times the Bills have been double-digit favorites, they've actually not covered the spread in 5 of those 7 games. My early lean, now you have to understand, this is not my 10,000 simulation betting model. And real quick, why do I say that? Because right there on the screen, I'm showing you the models are cooking. Player models are now 27-14 on the season for plus 8.92 units. The game models have profited in both weeks and are now over 6 units of profit. The top 5 money line and the top 5 spread picks went 5-0 this past week. Matter of fact, the first 7 spread picks won in our bet rankings. And the moneyline model went 10-1 in the first 11 picks. It went 2-3 in the bottom 5, but doesn't that make sense? The least confident picks didn't do so great. I think that says something about the model, which, by the way, is in year 6. It better be good. So why did I just break that down? Well, the model doesn't come out until Tuesday afternoon, so I don't have it to make today's video. This one is based on my gut, my leans, my tummy tingles, and it has me taking the under on a short week. We've seen 52% of games last season hit the under. The game prior, 60% of the games hit the under on Thursday Night Football. Early in the season, that short week, well, these teams are not used to playing. Their bodies aren't ready. Full game action and endurance and conditioning is different. So is the physicality. It's way different than practice. And now they get just 3 days to prepare for it. We saw it on Thursday Night Football with the Packers, which, by the way, our model nailed that one. Packers minus 3.5, Packers money line. And I'm a little concerned about the total here. That game finished at 45. Packers defense is an absolute blitzkrieg. Good luck. So my lean, my tummy tingle, not my official pick or my model, is to take the under 49.5. And yes, the Bills have not covered in 5 of the last 7 games as double-digit favorites, but I think this one could be an absolute bloodbath. They have such good history against the Dolphins. They're at home. The crowd is going to be insane. So last season in this stadium, the Bills Mafia is going to go nuts under the lights. I would be taking minus 12.5. I love getting plus 100 on the odds here. These are my leans. Don't hold me to it. When the model is live, I will actually highlight the actual model picks on the Wednesday morning video. So come back Wednesday morning, watch the game picks video. The first game I'm going to talk about is going to be the Dolphins and Bills. So let's have some fun talking about some player props. And then we'll go look at my website projections, use the optimizers, and see if we can find any more W's. So Devon Achane, I already mentioned it. He has scored a touchdown now in 11 of the last 13 games with Tua under center. Thing is, for me, in my jurisdiction, I do not have access to touchdown projections on Underdog, but they are there every single week for most users. So Achane is one of those guys that I'd probably be running out there on Underdog, and I would be playing that specific projection, the touchdowns. But if you are like me and you cannot, I'm going to be looking at his receiving yards. He just had 8 catches for 92 yards. There's a lot to like there. This is a decent number for him. He's a single catch away from taking it 36-plus yards any given touch. He's the Jahmyr Gibbs of the AFC. Just doesn't get the workload that Gibbs does. Nor does he have the offense around him or the offensive line. But that would be my pivot. On the Bills sideline, looking at the running back situation, James Cook had himself a day in week 2. They had a chance to protect Josh Allen. They didn't make him throw the ball after his bloody nose. He got snot rags shoved up there, and they leaned on the run. Of course they did. Ran for $132 and 2 tutties on 21 carries. James Cook looked good. That offensive line looked great. Dolphins won't be able to stop it this week either. So James Cook has scored a touchdown in 15 of 20 games. I forgot I wanted to mention that. It's totally worth mentioning. And on top of that, last season and this season, he has scored a touchdown on 6 of the 8 primetime games, including 3 against the Dolphins last season on primetime. And I just want to expand upon this because there's money to be made here. He's also scored a touchdown in 12 of the 14 wins last season for the Bills. And this season, he has a touchdown in both, 2 of 2. So we can look at last year and this year, and he has scored in 14 of the 16 Buffalo Bills games that they've won. If you're looking for a single bet for Thursday Night Football, just one and done, walk away, you're not watching it, or you're not trying to track 50 bets, for me, it's a James Cook touchdown. Plain and simple. You know how I said on Monday night? Well, maybe you didn't see it, but hopefully you did. Said if you're going to put a bet in, I think the fun one's going to be Keenan Allen, plus 230 to score a touchdown. Well, my guy scored, I think, potentially a second or first touchdown of the game. I feel that strongly about this one. I think he scores for the 15th time in 17 wins for the Bills. I think he scores for the 7th time in 9 primetime games for the Bills. And I highlight this because of this interesting stat. So Josh Allen and his handsome face and MVP eyelashes. Yeah, you heard me. Quote me, I dare you. He's actually only had a rushing touchdown against them 2 times in the 9 games against them over the last 5 seasons. And part of it is because he never needs to. I just talked about James Cook. I also mentioned how he's thrown for 293 per game against them. And we've seen recently over the last 2 seasons, they try to protect Josh a little bit. They can't protect him from himself with not running the football or using him inside the 5 in games that they're winning. And they are 12.5-point favorites at home in primetime. Now, because I'm not going to be taking the Allen touchdown, well, you can't even see him behind my bald head now that I look at my monitor. Let's bring him up. I am sorry. How about this one there? No hiding it. Well, I think James Cook gets the rushing touchdown this week, or at least an anytime touchdown. I think it's a Josh Allen passing night. I think it's just going to be a pendulum this season. Threw for 1 billion yards and 1 million touchdowns in that week 1 game against the Ravens. Well, then week 2, he didn't need to run it, really didn't need to sling it, and they protected him in a blowout win. Now, I think they should win this handedly, but I think part of it's going to be through the air. Dolphins' pass defense has actually looked terrible through 2 weeks, and they haven't even faced the toughest opponents. Good luck against Joshy Poo. Yes, I said it. Hey, if you could do me a huge favor, just hit that sub button. I am here 7 days a week. 3 live streams, Monday, Thursday, Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern, and videos on the other 5 days, and videos on the other 4 days. I try to line your pockets in a myriad of ways. Hey, and real quick, I just want to say thank you. If you're still watching this video, you're likely somebody that contributed to potentially the best week of my content life. I looked at the YouTube metrics, and my Sunday morning live show had 918 peak viewers. I had a video go for 65,000 views on Wednesday. Every video last week was over 10K. These numbers, I picked more subs up this past week than I did for the entirety of 2024. Yes, my red hot start to 2025 through 2 weeks of NFL has helped. But truly, I think I've just found some really cool people watching my show. And to you, I just want to say thank you. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for liking the videos. The likes are so high right now, and the comments are insane. I've never had so many comments. I've actually gone back through my YouTube dashboard, and I went out of my way to respond to every single comment. There were like 400. It took me forever, but I was so thankful. Hopefully this week 3 ends up being just as good as the first 2 weeks, but please protect your mentals, protect your monies, and let's just try to have fun on this channel regardless. Back to betting. All right, so we talked about the running backs. We talked about Josh Allen. Now we got to talk Tua. What I'm going to be looking for is the longest pass completion, and it's sitting right here. I do think he gets over the top of the Bills. I think that's an interesting play. Am I ready to bet on it? No, but it's a nice little lean to start off. I don't have to worry about his efficiency. I don't have to worry about his pass yards volume. I just have to bet on Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill getting past these slow safeties for the Buffalo Bills. Another interesting angle would be to take the passing yards in the first quarter and grabbing lower. If the Bills defense comes out hot, or the Bills start off with the ball and go on like a 6-minute drive and score, fans are fired up. I mean, we've all seen this story played out. Defense goes nuclear because the crowd is at level 100 noise. They're up 7-0, and you get a quick 3 and out by the opposing team. I mean, my goodness. The Bills get the ball right back. They chew up some clock. Dolphins finally get the ball back with a minute or 2 left in the first, if they even do. That first quarter can be very tricky for underdogs on the road on primetime. If it doesn't start well, it usually doesn't end well. Now, if you watched any of the Bills games, you kind of see things like this occur. Bounce back week in and week out. Guy has a great game, next week disappears. I'm looking at you, Keon Coleman. Khalil Shakir's another one. He'll have 6-7 catches for 70, 80 yards. Next week goes out there, 2 targets, 1 catch, 12 yards. They didn't need him. He's also never really done well against the Jets. I should have played the under. So this week against the Dolphins, I think, Josh Allen's going to throw the ball well on Thursday Night Football. That quick 2-minute hurry-up offense that they like to run early could absolutely slap them around over the middle. Khalil Shakir, one of the elite route runners, great hands. I like the over 42.5 receiving yards. That's an interesting play. He's also had 3+ catches in virtually every single game for the past 2 years, unless he's playing the Jets. Now, Tyreek Hill, can he get over the top on a catch? Absolutely. Can he still go under on his receiving yards? Absolutely. The Bills have actually been one of those teams that have kept Tyreek Hill in check, especially with the Dolphins. He had a couple big blow-up games against them with the Chiefs. This won't be a comfortable bet. In 9 career games against the Bills, he's averaged just 5 catches for 52 yards, and he has a total of 2 touchdowns. And at 65.5 receiving yards, he's cleared this 3 times. It's odd because the Bills' defensive backs have been an issue for a few seasons now, and they've still held him in check. I think the first quarter receiving yards at 9.5 is interesting. I think the full game receiving yards is interesting. Now, again, I told you, these are all leans. I don't have my projection model ready. I do my best on Tuesday morning very early for you. But this is, I'd say, 2 steps below the James Cook rushing touchdown or anytime touchdown is my favorite of the week for Thursday Night Football. Now, I told you we're going to talk about the projections. And here's the deal. We have these bet grades. We rank them. Same thing for the game models. Let me zoom in for you while I'm doing this recording. And this past week, top 11, top 12 picks. I guess it goes all the way to top 13. Oh, my goodness. No way. Out of the top 13 money line picks this week, the only loss was the Minnesota Vikings. They went 12-1 in the top 13. The 3 other losses were the lowest confidence rankings of the week. The player projection model, the bet grades 82 and higher. That's kind of our hurdle right now. Anything lower, we're not playing. Anything higher, we are playing. They went 10-5. They're 27-14 on the year for over +9 units. The spreads went 7-0 to start off our entire rankings list. I hit a +2,400 spreads parlay just running the top 5 with a small $5 no sweat bet I had on FanDuel for fun. And something I want to show you today is going to be the player odds and the player cards. So it's early again. Very early recording. I'm going to type in James Cook and his name pops up. Now, I talked about his anytime touchdown being my favorite bet of the week. Check it out. It's pretty juiced. No vig -160 if you like it. Now, if I click his name, it's going to bring open his player card. From here, I can do all sorts of research. I can look at the playoff stats. I can look at last season. I could look at his rushing yards. I could look at alt lines and say, all right, well, I'm going to take him for 40+ yards in this game, so on and so forth. You can do all sorts of research. It also has the prop optimizers, which give you math-based picks, and it has the betting models with those rankings I showed you. Now, why am I showing you all this now? Because I usually use it while I'm doing my video. Today, I decided not to. Just left up no vig, and I left up underdog. And now, I'm going to go make a parlay for my degenerates that stuck around through the entirety of the video. But if you're interested, that mysparwayedge.com, that's the betting tools website. That's the second link down below if you want to try it out. Now, you're going to have some type of bonus and boost or no sweat bets on FanDuel and DraftKings and these other apps, so make sure you shop around and look around. Let's just dive in and see what we can cook up. Now, I already talked about it, Bills, under, and you could run out the Dolphins spread if that's what you want for a +8, 3-1, although I want nothing to do with the spread this week. I think it's touch and go. I do feel pretty good about these. I will see what the model says, though. Doesn't mean the model's right, doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just another piece to the puzzle. But for the sake of this video, here's how I'm starting out this parlay, and I love that I start out with a +117. Now I'm going to go into the player props. The next one I'm going to add is my favorite, James Cook. Remember, my favorite of the week. And let me just show you something because I think this is honestly, potentially, something I'm going to do. The Bills money line with a James Cook touchdown. Remember, I'm down here. And remember, he has scored in 15 of the 17 wins the last 2 seasons. 14 to 16. Just rewind the video. I'm lazy. And I'm fairly certain I could probably get better odds elsewhere. And rather than telling you, I'm going to show you on my favorite sportsbook to use. I'm going James Cook, I'm going Bills money line, and I'm getting a -133. Not the greatest odds out there, but better than the other books I'm going to show you today. So this is the one, the only Thursday Night Football YouTube parlay. It's simple, it's effective. I'm sure a few of you probably just not happy. Like, man, I tuned in to see a +1,000 be built so that I could lose that. I love losing those. I'm not a content for clicks guy. I want to be genuine here. My goal is to make you money. You ain't going to make money with a +1,000 every video. Do we make them on this channel? Absolutely. I'm a degenerate too. But at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, I ain't ready for that. But I will be Thursday morning, 9 a.m. for the live show. And a few house cleaning items. If you want my premium picks, 18-2 staff picks this week, betting models and projections, over 9 units of profit this week, and my picks as well. That's the tails.bet/DFS and Donuts picks link. If you want access to my website, I briefly showed you that towards the end of the video, mysparwayedge.com, second link down below. If you try out no vig or underdog, just use code donuts. They're going to hook you up. And no matter what, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for the subscriptions, the likes, the comments. I'm going to keep saying it because I have been humbled to my core this week. I've been sitting in the joy that I have felt for the past week seeing all of this happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Hopefully I catch you tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, for the game picks video. 13-3, 12-4, first 2 weeks. Let's run it back in week 3. I'll see you tomorrow, my friends. Let's get paid.